What is going on, guys? Johnny on the track back with another video. And before I start, just want to make sure, if you're watching Johnny on the track on Action Network for all my bets, in general, anything added post practice, post qualifying, that's where you can see it all. So Johnny on the track on Action Network, also at JOTT_podcast on Twitter. Same thing for all my bets, for all my hot takes, for everything. You can find that on Twitter. Wanted to start by doing that, but now we can get into the Monster Mile, Dover Motor Speedway. In my opinion, besides really super speedways, which we just had, Dover to me is one of, if not the toughest track to bet on in NASCAR. It's very, very unpredictable. It is a unique track. It's steep, but it's short. It doesn't use the short track package. It uses the intermediate package. It's concrete. And for those wondering, what does that have to do with anything? If you don't really watch NASCAR and you just kind of like betting, most NASCAR tracks are made out of asphalt. This is a concrete track, which for some reason changes a lot. So in that sense, and in that case, and also I'll just say it's a very difficult track to race on. That's why they call it the Monster Mile. So it kind of defeats a lot of purposes of what we see trend wise. And it seems at a track like this, oftentimes may the best man win, may the most skillful driver come out on top. And that's why you see guys like a Larson have so many great finishes here, because it is a really unique, tough track. And there's not much data you can get on a track like this. So I did want to preface with that. Also, on top of it all, to make this even tougher, it seems like the weather this weekend is going to be iffy, which could play a major role in qualifying. Track position at this track, and in general, really this season, has played key. So I mean, you could look at some heavy hitters in the back right now. And that honestly may be why some guys have the odds where they are right now. But then again, I mean, I say that, and Ryan Blaney, who probably would start either first or second if qualifying were to get canceled, he's right around, I think, plus 2,000, plus 2,500, right around that range. So a lot of heavy hitters in interesting spots on the board. But with that, we're going to get right into it. So I've got 4 winners. Then I kind of have a guy that I think you should just take a little gamble on. Then I've got 2 top 10s and a top 3, top 5, whatever you want to put that on. So let's start with the winners. So the first guy I think that we should target is Chase Elliott. I know he's last year's winner, but he was the fastest car here last year from just lap 1 to the end of the race. Just consistent, really good speed, ended up winning. Now, there's a lot of things that played into Chase Elliott getting this win. Hamlin had a good car, had an issue early. Kyle Busch kind of got screwed. Truex, I think, was up there and deserved a better finish than he got. But when you actually look at speed, Chase Elliott was kind of the class of the field. So a couple things with Chase right now. Well, I'll add another positive. He's also very good on concrete. He was good on concrete last year. This is a concrete track. Some of his best finishes and wins came on concrete tracks. Nashville, I believe, being another one. So Chase Elliott, interesting guy right now, because it seems like that he's not fully there yet, back from his injuries. And it seems like he's kind of starting slow and then kind of finds himself at the end of the races. Maybe that's just him trying to adjust. I would say at this point, probably it's just him finding his kind of feel for the car again and making sure that his body is fit for this, and kind of, it's taking a little bit for him to adjust to things and whatnot. But he was out a couple months, right? He was out a couple months from the car. So we have to kind of keep that in mind. But with that being said, I do feel like Chase Elliott is going to bring a really good car. And I think even with what we've seen, he's going to be there at the end. And I think you couple that with the history on concrete, him starting to get the results back from where he was prior to that injury. I think if he's just there at the end, he can get it done. So he to me is my number one this week at plus 750 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Who knows if qualifying gets canceled, that number he'd probably be right around 8th to 12th starting position. Would be my guess just based on where he finished at Talladega. So maybe that line shifts a little bit in somebody's in the betting's favor. I don't know, but I think that's something we keep an eye on, because I think if you can get that close to +8, +9, I think that's a really good number for Elliott. Number 2, I'm going to go with Hamlin +900. He's tied for 3rd fastest on intermediate tracks this year. And if you go back, he dominated the early part of this race last year prior to having a wheel falling off. So +900, I think that's solid odds for a more than capable driver to get it done. Like I said, it's a skilled wheelman's track, and Denny Hamlin is definitely skilled. He's definitely what we would call a wheelman in this series. So like I said, I like the number. I feel like he's going to have a fast car. And he's had a lot of mistakes that have little mistakes that have cost him, whether it's speeding on pit road or having an unlucky break, right? For look at that, something just dropped. An unlucky, break with a caution. That's what we've seen so far with Hamlin. But I think at some point that's going to change, and I think it's going to go his way, and that to me could be this weekend. So Hamlin +900. Number 3, Harvick +1100. Couple things here. First of all, he really, in my opinion, has been a top 5 driver this year. He's been fast everywhere we've went, whether it's short tracks, intermediate tracks, to the super speedways. He's been really, really solid and consistent. Get close. I feel like he's close to getting over that hump. It looked like maybe at Martinsville, he had a chance to win that thing again. A couple things go different ways. Maybe he does get it done. Again, he's kind of had the Hamlin thing where it looks like he's had a fast enough car to get a win, but things just don't click right, when they should. But that's the first thing. And then the second thing is this is going to be the first track that actually honors Harvick. I think it's going to be something like Harvick turn 4. So turn 4 will have a little, ode to Kevin Harvick, if you will. So maybe there's some extra motivation there. And how cool would that be if, the first track that really honors Harvick, he wins at? I mean, I think, you got to find those little things, those extra motivation things. Sometimes it's something like this, or sometimes it's, a guy thought, they had it the year before, ended up finishing second from a stupid mistake. They had the motivation and get the win the next year. So you got to find those little things. And I think maybe that's something for Harvick. But I think he'll have a good car. Stewart Haas has been making some really, really good strides in the last few races. So maybe it's Harvick's day on Sunday. And then finally, my fourth true winner is Truex +1200. I think those are really good odds. He had a late race issue. I think he collided with maybe Chastain late in the race and didn't get the finish he deserved. I believe he ended up finishing 12th. But he had a really, really fast car here. And at some point, it's going to click for Truex. It's kind of crazy that it clicked at the Busch Clash. And from there on out, it hasn't clicked for him. But he's like Hamlin and even Harvick, I'd say they've had fast cars. Just luck really hasn't been on their side. So is this the time where it clicks for Truex this year? I don't know, but he has a really good history at Dover. And I think the car is going to be good enough for him to win. So Truex would be my number 4. And then real quick, Another guy that I threw on this list right now, Joey Logano at plus 2,200. That is an insane number to me. I know he hasn't really been good on short tracks with speed, but this plays as an intermediate track. So I think the books are kind of really underestimating this thing with Logano. He's the reigning champ, and to see him at plus 2,200 is like really crazy. So I would put something on Joey Logano, whether it's, a couple bucks, maybe you want to go big, right? Because he is more than capable of winning at Dover. That is for sure. But again, the main winners, Elliott, Harvick, Hamlin, and Truex. All right, top 3, top 5, however you want to play this. Kyle Larson, he is Mr. Consistency on this track. He loves this racetrack, has a great average finish. It's like around 4, I believe, when you do the numbers. It's just insane what he's been able to do on this racetrack. He's won in Cup, he's won an Xfinity here. So Kyle Larson at this track, it's a great combo. I think if you want to bet Kyle Larson to win, you certainly can do that. I don't love the odds. I think they're around like 600. I don't like to take guys like that, especially in NASCAR. I think these, when you see odds like that for somebody to win, to me, it's not even worth doing. But I do think it is worth putting on the top 3 to top 5, because if you just look at the history, I believe that's going to come to fruition this Sunday. So Larson, top 3 to top 5. I maybe the top 3 you still get at plus money. I don't know. Even that would be pretty close. The top 5, I would say it's probably going to be around minus 120, minus 125, something like that. Maybe if we're lucky, we can get, plus 125 for the top 3. But Larson, again, just super consistent on this racetrack. He's going to have a great car, as he usually does this year and obviously the past couple of years. So Larson, great pick here. Whether you want him to win, that's fine. You can do it, but I like these bets a little bit better. And then the 2 top 10s, we'll start with the guy who won the pole here last year, Chris Buescher. Top 10, I think, is a really good bet to place on Chris Buescher. Had a good finish last weekend at Talladega. Momentum may be building for that RFK team. They switched pit crews with Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s team. So, Stenhouse had one of the fastest teams on pit road, and now Buescher has that crew. Maybe it paid dividends for him to get a good finish at Dega. Track position being key. I think a fast pit crew for Buescher, coupled with what I assume would be probably the same car they brought here last year and same setup. You couple that together, I think Buescher is a good pick for a top 10. I assume that'll be plus money right now. To win, he's plus 3,500. So I would assume you can probably get the top 10 at plus money. And then another guy that really outperformed his equipment last year, Ryan Preece. He really was running right around top 15 in a Rick Ware racing car. Ended up, I think, having to pit off cycle, and that kind of ruined his day. But Ryan Preece, man, he's one of my favorite drivers, so it's upsetting, but he's been very, very unlucky. I don't want to hear anybody say, he's just been trash. If you watch the races, he has not been trash. He's had good race cars. He's obviously outperforming his equipment. He's just been unlucky. And it's not all bad luck, like at what was it, Martinsville, where he led a lot of laps. He kind of did it to himself, right? Speeding on pit road. So again, stuff like that can add up, especially when you're not in the best equipment. When you're a guy like Larson or Hamlin and you speed early, maybe you can come back from it. But at this point, with tracks like this, with track position being so key, you need to be on your game. And I think at one point it's going to click for Preece. And I think as soon as he gets that one really deserving top 10 finish, maybe it's a 6th place, maybe it's a 4th place, something like that, I think then he's going to realize I can do this. I can get results. And then I think the top 10s are going to start coming for a guy like him. And I think the same thing with Buescher, honestly. So coming off Dega, really, really good, solid finish for him at a track where he's had success at, I believe. Let me double check here. I believe Chris Buescher won at Dover in the Xfinity Series as well. Hold on, let me get that up real quick. I don't want to. Yeah, he did. In 2015 in the Xfinity Series when he won the Xfinity Series championship, he won at Dover. So more than capable. Again, was on the pole last year. So those two top 10 bets, I think, I don't think they're going to fail you. So Busher top 10 and Priest top 10. And then let me just run through them all one more time. So Elliott to win plus 750, Harvick plus 1100, Hamlin plus 900, Truex plus 1200, and then that little something if you want on Logano at plus 2200. Larson top 3, top 5. Okay, hold on. Now that I think about it, I might be able to. I think I can get top 3 numbers for Larson. Hold on, give me a sec. And as I'm getting this up, Busher top 10 and Priest top 10. All right, here it is. Hold on. Come on. So the odds for the Larson top 3 is plus 170. So that's a pretty good number. The top 5, yeah, I think it's going to be, they don't have it yet on DraftKings. It's probably going to be, like I said, right around minus 120. But I think those are very fair numbers. A guy also, I think too high right now, William Byron plus 650. I would fade Byron. I'm also fading Bowman at plus 1200. You guys know I've enjoyed betting on Bowman this season, even though he hasn't won. But that's because his odds have been plus, around plus 2000. I think Bowman at plus 1200. I don't really like that number. So if it bites us in the ass, so be it. But I want to bet on Bowman when he's around plus 2000. So there it is. Those are the picks. Again, this could change. I mean, this could change without qualifying. So the weather really could play a big part here. No lights. So, if there's rain on Sunday later in the race, they would have to wrap this thing up and that would be it. So a lot of things that I think can play into what is already a very, very tough track to predict. But like I said, Johnny on the Track on Action Network, if you want any bets, post-qualifying, post-practice, all that stuff, and then just what we talk about here, that's all on Action Network. Also at JOTT_podcast on Twitter. Like I said, to find all my hot takes and bets as well. Hopefully Sunday's race doesn't get rained out and we can enjoy a good show. I think Dover always does put on a good show. Like I said, it's a fun track to watch because it is so skillful. So we'll see. But thanks for watching. If you're a first-time viewer, definitely subscribe for more content and like this video. Thanks.